I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I am Tony Russo from OceanCity.com. And it's hard to get used to saying a different thing every time, because I used to say No Relation, and then before that it was from other newspapers. It's getting confusing, but I'm happy to be at OceanCity.com. So I'm going to keep saying that. Plus, I want to plug OceanCity.com stuff. So it's
your most current thing that you're doing, so you should plug that.
Absolutely. Plug your most current thing. All sorts of fun stuff for you today. And I kind of chuckled before we started because what I wanted to say was we changed the format on this show so much. I was going to say that we're talking more and more about content marketing. Is that what we're calling it too, right? And I was thinking to myself, like, I should say, like, this is the content marketing portion of the podcast because it's going to last like 6 months, a year, and then 3 years, and then. And I'll be like, you know what, I'm really into ladybugs. And Todd will be like, yeah, you know what, I am too. And then it'll be the Toddcast about ladybugs. But for now, it's about content marketing, and we got plenty to say about that. Lots of fun stuff. We started looking, or at least I started looking for how I relate to the audience. They're not my audience. That's why I said OceanCity.com. OceanCity.com has a large audience. I don't have an audience at all, but I use their audience to do things for their clients, and Todd does the same thing. And so now I've been trying to kind of catalog like my experience in the writing and the doing and the promoting and how it works for the local businesses that we help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And I mean, likewise, like we talked about, everything that we've been doing with Good Clean Fun has basically been an experiment leading up to being able to help clients kind of do the same thing, establish a brand personality online,
right,
and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and there's. I was thinking today that there is so much more that I can do that I can't do. Like, there are literally not enough people for me to do all the things I want to do. I'm getting out and I'm collecting more stories than ever before.
Right.
But I'm collecting more. I used to collect enough stories to barely get done with doing the newspaper. Now I'm like, I don't have to do the newspaper anymore. I can collect more stories. Well, I didn't add time.
Right.
And so now instead of trying to do like 8 stories a week, I'm trying to do 16 stories a week. And it's just kind of bearing me. And so one of the things that I thought would be fun to talk about is just like making sure that you're taking the time to do good stuff.
Yes.
At the expense of doing a lot of stuff.
Yes. And there's arguments for both in terms of quality and quantity. I recently read BuzzFeed puts out like 70 videos a week. I know you love talking about BuzzFeed, but then just recently there was a survey that was done on some bigger sites. They put out a ton of stuff. They're talking about the quality of the search engine optimization when downsizing, in other words, getting rid of pages. So there was like a National Archive, science-y type website, and they got rid of, I don't know what the number was, 9,000 pages. So these are just different things, and they found that their click rate went up because of that. So so it's a matter of there's so much information out there. You're going to do, and you need to be putting stuff out there on a regular basis, but you need to also be taking a concerted effort to make sure that it is quality.
Well, one of the things that I learned last week, this is something that I didn't even know was a thing, but I was going through, because we were doing some of our pages, and at the risk of being the arrogant jerk that I am, I'm kind of like punching them up. They're there.
Right.
They're kind of tedious. And some of the information, like the history of Ocean City, is tough to read. Yeah. And I'm like, well, let me streamline this. And I think I did an okay job at the 1 or 2 pages that I looked at, but one of the troubles was, I'm like, well, this should all be on different pages. I'm like, there's too much about, it's okay, I don't mind petting them unless you don't like the way it sounds.
Come here, buddy.
Come here. I'm kind of a professional dog petter as it is. So.
Sit.
There you go. And so I said to my boss, I'm like, this part should be here, but then, we should take all this and move it over there. And she's like, she was very kind.
Yeah.
But what she could have said was, that is so 1998. She's like, all the information about things to do in Ocean City goes on the things to do in Ocean City page. And if it's 40 pages down, then it's 40 pages down, because I'm still from the old school where you want everything in the first couple. And she's like, you want the very important stuff, and the very important links should be in the first 2 paragraphs. Right. But the stuff that you don't want the pages competing against one another, which is why people do this consolidation.
Yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
It's really weird. Again, no offense intended to my former colleagues, but it's really weird for someone to know so much more about any one thing than I do. You know, right. It's interesting to learn stuff, and you know, and even though I try to do a fair amount of research, there are people who, I mean, to be fair, it's not her job. It's not merely her job. It's like, if she wants to keep having the business, she has to be really good at and really know all of these things. And she said, you know, 98% of it is voodoo, but you just keep throwing spaghetti against the wall till it sticks.
Right. And you test things out and experiment and find new resources to tap into. I actually took a listen to that SEO podcast that you had suggested, and found out some interesting stuff in terms of, you know, because with some of the clients that we've talked about, you know, people talk about Google Plus being dead. However, you know, Google Places is critically important for that name, address, and phone number.
I said it right in the beginning. Google Plus is dead as a competitor to Facebook, but for people like me who never saw it, people are going to eventually start to get because Google Places, and now they have Google Photos, and
what's amazing. So the one thing that they were talking about that I found interesting is, one, I guess now a lot more searches are becoming local. So you have to have your address in there, because more and more people are searching through Siri or Google, you know, where they're asking a question. It's like, what's the nearest pizza shop?
Right.
And so it's taking your location and it's comparing to other places, and you're obviously going to have a higher ranking if you have a Google Places with your address in it and that sort of thing. And
also photos. Like, it's funny because I always geotag my photos.
Right.
And so when I find a place, when I search for a place, because I always forget phone numbers and stuff that I've been to, my photos are the ones that come up. And I don't know. I've been meaning to do an incognito search and see if I'm the only one tagging these in Google, or if it's just because it's on my computer. I don't know, but I'd love to find out, like, how much content I'm creating for these businesses when I go there and I geotag them. And it's something that people should be encouraged to do.
Yes.
There was a hot dog place in Easton that would give you, it was like 10% off if you took your picture and show that you had geotagged yourself having lunch there.
Yeah.
You got 10% off your bill.
I mean, I think for those kind of businesses, it just makes sense. And there's so much stuff that's out there that, you know, to be able to take advantage of just the patron that's coming by, you know, is important. Pictures are going to be taken anyway. You might as well capitalize on it
and make sure they're telling the best. Make sure they're saying where they are.
Right.
And I interrupted your story about.
Well, I don't know. What I was going to say is, just that, you know, if you're searching, you know, local places or find me the nearest, you know, that's the importance of having, you know, name, address, and phone number. I do a lot of, searches and tutorials for, for Premiere or editing or that sort of thing. And it's just not related to the local, but the current, you know, that's also an important thing, is to have the most recent stuff, because things are changing all the time. There as well. And then if there is local help that you can find, you know, that's an added advantage. I mean, I was writing up the little blurb for us today, and I was kind of thinking about, you know, like, you know, you and I are the content kings,
right? Impresarios
of the Eastern Shore. There are other people who are doing it. but to the degree that it's being done in other markets, I think it's far and away. We have an understanding.
We're way out ahead.
Yes,
way out ahead.
Yes,
See, I love hearing, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I love hearing people say I hadn't before listened to Mark Maron's pod.
Okay.
And people are always like, you were so ahead of this. You were so ahead of this. I'm like, well, I was ahead of it. I don't have my own TV show, right? Because of it. But they were talking about how he got on it and he just stayed with it. He's actually at like episode 680.
Yeah.
So he's even farther ahead of us. But there aren't a lot that are in the 200s.
Right.
And this is really the third iteration of this show.
We might be, yes.
Yeah, we could be closer. We could be closer to 300. But we've been at it for about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And people are still just coming on and saying, oh, is a podcast a good way to, and one of the things that's going to be interesting is to see when it hits here, which is why I'm so desperate to start getting us back on iTunes.
Yes.
It's only a matter of time before it hits here. I did say that 6 years ago, and I was wrong.
And it is still a matter of time.
It must be. I really thought it was just going to be 6 months, but now that it's something that people come to expect.
Yes.
And the tourism ones aren't very good.
Well, and I think along those same lines, I decided last week, and I maybe mentioned it, but you get to watch it. I'm going to start doing, in addition to this, a weekly vlog. We get a lot of questions about what we do with Good Clean Fun. This was a very busy weekend for us, and probably the last real busy weekend. But we had the Starboard closing, we had Fager's Island shell shock.
I saw that was good.
So it's one of those things where it's now easy for me to produce content for those type of events because we've been doing it for so long, and not that it's formulaic, but it's I mean, I say it about writing all the time. People are like, how can you write so much? I'm like, well, because I have to. Yeah.
I don't have to sit around and get inspired. If I don't get inspired, then if I don't get inspired, I don't get a chance.
Right.
And so once you do something for so long, you get into a rhythm.
Yes.
And it's not formulaic, but it is something that you're just more efficient.
And one thing that I do like at the, risking the sounding similar to being formulaic, because I'd see that as a bad thing, is I had somebody make a comment is that our pieces have a certain look to them. Now I appreciate that, just like
it's a voice
in writing. Yeah, you have a look or a voice. So that I think is a good thing. But adding the wrinkle of almost the behind the scenes, doing a vlog, it's like
right,
holding the camera out in front of you, which I haven't done resisted doing almost for so long. It's one of those things that you start building that and building it. I did my first one. I have the second one that is in the editing bay, and it's going to be it may only be a couple views for the first little bit,
but you're doing it regularly,
and you're creating a body of work.
And I'm sorry, following up on I know why it takes you less time. Would you like me to tell you why?
Yes.
You don't take shots. You don't need it.
Yes. Yes. In camera editing.
It's something that you don't even realize how important it is going through photos takes. Even my poor wife, she'll go out and she does these portraits, and
yeah,
she'll still take 1,000 photos or 750 photos, and I'm like, I'll take 20 if I need 3.
Yeah,
I used to take 60 if I needed 3.
Right,
and then you have to page through them, and it's like you start to get, because you have your own style and you have your own look for you. You start to get. You're doing it in your head while it's going on.
Yes.
So it's not like you're taking everything and then coming back and trying to put it together.
Right.
Similarly, when I go out on a story, I'm there and I'm like, okay, that's going to go, that's not going to go. And I can hear, by the time I'm driving home, I have a good idea how the story is going to go.
Yes.
When I first started, I would come home with a notepad full of stuff and I'd dig through it. And after a while, I'm like, well, no, you were there. Just what happened.
That's right.
You don't have to ask the note paper. You ask the note paper how the name is spelled.
Right,
you know?
Right.
And so you just get faster and faster. I mean, there's a point where it still takes me about an hour to do a story, 45 minutes to an hour. But it also only takes me a draft or two instead of 5 drafts.
Yes.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Story.
Yeah. No, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, I always talk about the hair flip, and the video is you get people, you get them looking at the camera, you wave at them to entice them to wave back at you,
right?
Because because otherwise you have tons and tons of footage of people just standing there still motionless, waiting for the flash to go off or something like that, which I think is kind of funny too.
Those are great shots. One of the other tricks that I've started using in group photography is how so we won the championship, and then you see in the paper and everybody's eyes are looking a different way.
Yeah.
I've decided that since no one else is going to do it, I'm going to be in charge of this. I say, okay, everyone, look at him. It's his turn. Now me. So I'm like, go ahead, you take yours. I don't even put my camera up. And after everyone's done, I'm like, okay, now look at me, And
right.
That way, because there's nothing more frustrating than getting home and finding one guy is looking at his Aunt Tilde, who's taking a picture with her flip phone.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why I had to shit on Aunt Tilde or flip phone. It's not like they're lesser than me.
Well, they are.
Well, no, actually, Joey is way less important to me than he is to Aunt Tilde and her flip phone, right? So
right.
If you think of it that way. So we were talking about quality content before, quality ad decisions. And one of the things that I put on this week's Starfied was someone had sent me an advertisement for a whiskey advent calendar.
Oh, okay.
And what this was, it was 28.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's $200, and frankly, I would rather buy $200 bottles of whiskey and have a shot a day for 30 days.
Right.
It's essentially the same thing.
Right.
Or 4 $50 bottles. You see how the math works with that. But anyway, and so in the text of the ad story, there was an AdWords place, and there was a Coors Light commercial.
Right.
And that is money that Coors totally didn't have to spend.
Yeah.
And when people use, I don't have we use a lot of display ads on oceancity.com.
Right.
But if you want to find, you're not going to find hairdryer.
Right.
You're not going to find hairdryer advertisements. You're going to find hotel advertisements.
Right.
You're going to find restaurant advertisements. You're going to find things that are relevant to what you're looking for. But even more specific, you're not going to see a lot of Applebee's Salisbury ads on our site.
Right.
You're not going to see any.
Yeah. Right.
You're probably not. Is there even an Applebee's in Ocean City?
There is one in West Ocean City.
I can't believe
those
places. I can't believe those places survive at all.
Really? See, I always thought that I was the one who had an unreasonable disdain for Applebee's. I cannot stand it.
No, people are afraid to mention that.
Oh, really?
To mention chain restaurants generally, but I have a personal hate for Applebee's.
I do too.
That goes deep. But we'll set that aside for now. And so whoever's running the Coors campaign or whatever said, anytime someone mentions booze, put our name up.
Right.
But then, for example, they're paying craft beer sites to advertise in the AdWords display on the craft beer blogs, and they're not. It's like they should. And I'm sorry to be stereotypical, but not really. They should dump a bunch of money in NASCAR.com.
Right.
You want to jump a bunch of money, even in NBA.com, in NFL.com, in places where most of the readers are disposed to Coors Light. But if you're looking at a $200 whiskey set, you're not going to pound that. You're not. If your palate wants $200 worth of whiskey, it doesn't want 28 cents worth of Coors Light.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And nobody's going to make that jump from what, it's a little steep, but I think I'll get the 200. I want a Coors Light.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, but it's it puts, for me, a negative. I didn't need a more negative association with Coors Light, but there is a negative association with it.
Right.
Well, what do you think of me? Do you think I don't know that you're not supposed to have that beer with this whiskey?
Not only is it a shitty beer, they're terrible advertisers.
Exactly.
And that offends you personally.
That's why I can't watch television ads. We've had this conversation before, because I feel like a lot of times television ads are if you're dumb enough to watch this show, you're stupid enough to buy this product. And it could be a product I like, but I take advertising very personally. And I mean, you should.
Yeah.
And that will bring us.
Yeah.
Accidentally, that wasn't even on purpose.
That was a good one. Yeah. So you sent over to me, tweeted over to me. If there's one Christmas commercial you watched this year, it's this one. And we were talking before coming on air. I even remembered the product.
Yeah, I almost did. I knew it was a computer thing.
Unless I'm wrong, but it was a
Surface. Let's go.
It was there for the Microsoft Surface,
right?
And he set it up.
Okay, so it's a Christmas. It's not clearly a Christmas commercial because it wasn't on television. Like I might have flipped over it was on television, but it was an advertisement on the internet. It was a video that we got. And when I clicked on it, it was like it said it was a Jeff Goldblum video.
Right.
I like Jeff Goldblum.
He's delightfully weird.
He's a fun guy. So and what it is it's this person is upset about getting a bad Christmas present and they didn't do a good job at hiding it. And then Jeff Goldblum comes in and gives like a little acting class about how to pretend you got the Microsoft Surface even though you got a shitty sweater. Or whatever. It was a puzzle. It was a puzzle. Yeah. But the point was that it was. I feel like I said, I hate commercials so much. I feel like if it's good enough to get me to not turn it off,
right?
It's a quality. I mean,
it's doing something.
It must be doing something right because I don't want to be sold to.
Right.
I just want to sell to.
And that's one of the things that's that commercial was entertaining and it had a concept and we were talking about it. I think it's sort of the trend to be sort of goofy, creepy, weird, and you can do that on the internet in a longer format.
Right.
I think a great example of that are the Geico commercials. So playing on the fact that you can X out of a commercial after the first 5 seconds, they basically pick up the last 5 seconds of a commercial, and then it continues on. So it's a scene. The best one was a family dinner, and the tagline at the end is like Geico, whatever the tagline is, and then everybody in the scene is just standing there. And they're sitting there around the spaghetti dinner.
Right.
And there's a dog that comes into the scene. And so the parents and the kids are sitting there straight faced, like they're frozen at the end of the commercial. And then this dog jumps up on the table and is eating. So like they've extended the amount of time that you're going to watch.
Because
it's like post the end of the commercial.
Right. You set up.
Yeah.
You see where they get. So then you want to see how they get there.
Yes.
Which is, it's a famous movie thing, but in commercials, it's just, getting in front of people is hard, and getting them to stay and getting to stay in front of people is even harder.
Right.
Especially if you're just like, if you're just throwing Coors Light ads at them all day, it gets old and ineffective. And for what Coors spent on that ad, I mean, they spent $1 billion to the cent or whatever. But what they spent on that AdWords campaign with the high-end whiskey, they could have hired Jeff Goldblum as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And done something better. Yeah, absolutely.
And those are the things that I think I don't know how long we'll harp on this, which is what I was joking about earlier. But
we're done.
we're going to harp on it for a while because the idea is to do stuff. To make it, it's not even product placement. It's brand management. So I put out two separate stories this week about Buxy's, because I went there and I took pictures and I did a story, and it's not a story that I wouldn't have written for a newspaper.
Buxy's Salty Dog.
Buxy's Salty Dog Saloon in Ocean City. There's nothing addy about them.
Right.
I took some cheap shots at the Pittsburgh Steelers or whatever.
Yeah.
They're a Pittsburgh bar. I talked about it. I'm like, I didn't get how Pittsburgh a bar they were. I thought they were like a Steelers bar. Right. And I'm like, oh, so what's the special tonight? And what are you putting on the marquee? And the girl looked at me like I had 6 cents. She's like, the Penske tonight. Like, oh yeah, that's right. Hockey. I forgot. We all come here to watch Pittsburgh hockey. But that's the kind of thing that people like about people who like that bar. It's what they like about it, and I wrote what I liked about it. And true, the only reason that I was there is because they're one of our sponsors.
Right.
But I wasn't writing them ad copy.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about today. One of the things that I want to do is I want to continue to do the things that I had success with at the other papers where it was just go and write good stories. And so I was speaking to the saleswoman. I'm like, don't tell them I'm coming.
Oh, right.
Don't tell them I'm from you. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to tell you where.
Yeah.
And the idea is that if people feel, and this is the customer too, if they feel like it's something they're paying for,
yeah,
then they're going to want some creative control.
Right.
And I just want to say to you, this is what, I don't make hamburgers. I don't pour beers. I write, it's my job.
Right.
My job is to get you from the beginning of the story to the end of the story without clicking off.
Right.
Right? You can hire the people who made the Coors ad and put it next to the whiskey thing. That's fine.
Right.
If you have that kind of money.
You can put the Pittsburgh bar ad in a Baltimore Ravens.
Absolutely.
Blog. Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know. That's one of their things. They have it's called the Respect. I'm telling you, like you don't know. They have this, and I mentioned that as well. I would love to go there. I'm not going to, but I would love to go there on Sunday. Like if the Ravens were playing the Steelers, I would imagine that would be a lot of fun to witness.
Yeah, it's and they so 100 days or 365 days a year. That place is an experience, and they own that that experience. The Pens game, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, they're aware and local, or aware of the people who live there, that they're not all into that experience. So
you don't have to be, but if you are, so much the better.
And it's fun to try. I mean,
Yeah. Well, and the other magazine, I don't work for them. I freelance a lot for the Metropolitan magazine, which is fine, and that is very ad copy, and they know it. Like there's no question about why I'm there.
Right.
And a lot of times they want creative control, and they pay me enough money to write the stories that I don't care.
Right.
But it's tough. It's tough because I'm like, yeah, you can change however you want because I don't care, because it's very addy, but you're making it worse.
Yeah.
And if you're paying for a good article, you're taking a good article and making it someplace between less good and bad.
Yes.
And I'll often take my name like all the way off it. Like sometimes there are a lot of stories where I'm like, well, that's bad, but
well, if
it's awful, I take my name off. If it's bad, I leave my name off.
It's funny because I've come to the realization that oftentimes my job is to make drunks look like they're having fun,
right,
and are responsible,
right.
So I had recently had the experience where I went to this energy marketing conference, which very stuffy. I was up in New York, not stuffy, but it was the exact opposite. The first run of my video, it was what they wanted to do. The feedback I got was, let's make these professionals look like they're having fun,
like they are fun.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, it was just kind of a different, but for me, having the creative control, having developed it with all the stuff that we've done over the years, building trust, not, falling easy prey to being a local TMZ,
right.
And, calling out people who are falling down plaster, because we have plenty of that.
Right. And it's not as if people don't know about it.
Right. And, what we do is maybe a little bit light in terms of the heavy things that are happening in the world, but we serve a purpose.
Well, the thing about the journalistic responsibility, I guess, is that, there's only so much that can be done, and no one really has the ability, especially anymore, the ability to make like a real difference. You can, if you are very lucky, once in your lifetime, you can really, really embarrass some important people.
Right.
But that's what you're gonna do. I heard it was funny. I heard an interview with the former ombudsman for ESPN. Now, what the ombudsman does is he raises viewer concerns, And he was saying, he's like, they were very clear with me. I don't know if he got fired or if he resigned, but it wasn't like an angry thing.
Yeah.
It was just that ESPN realized that it was a joke for them to even pretend that they were a news organization. Like, why would we have all the trappings of a news organization? We are not.
Yeah.
We are a sport. We are
entertainment.
We are the Worldwide Wrestling Federation of Journalism.
Right.
And once we own that, it'll be easier on us, and we won't have to pay. Because I don't know if you remember, Bill Simmons got fired last year, and the Young Bucks, and it was like,
and that was kind of a big deal because they didn't realize that he got fired, and now Grantland as a website, which was a media outlet, essentially. But that just went away.
And they had real people, like they had real, and that was actually what the story was about.
Yeah,
was the Grantland thing, and what ESPN came to realize is that wasn't their audience.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's terrifying because ESPN is the reason your cable bill is so high.
Yeah,
they have to pay ESPN a fortune to be on your. ESPN is the reason.
Yeah.
That the cable bill is so goddamn high. Because too damn high. But and what ESPN realized is that it's not that it wasn't good content. It was that the good content wasn't for their marketplace.
Right.
Like, their readers want to see the Coors Light.
Yeah.
They don't want the whiskey.
Yeah.
They want the Coors Light. And Coors Light spends a fortune by coincidence at ESPN for that reason. It's not what people come to ESPN for.
Right.
It's not what people come. People don't come to oceancity.com to see me eviscerate the county commissioners.
Right.
We say county nice. I won't lie. But it's not only not my job, it's like a disservice to my readers.
Right.
There are news outlets who are doing their jobs, well or poorly, but I've been in them, and even when you do it really, really well, you do make a lot of difference.
Right.
Especially, 50-year-old men. I've said it before. They already know everything.
Yeah.
So there's no point trying to tell them anything new.
They
already know it. So you may as well do fun stuff and do nice stuff and let people feel good. Like I'll be the opiate of the masses. I'll be religion.
I mean, and when you turn to social media these days, and there's so much fabricated outrage over ridiculous stuff, that tends to shine a light more on why is this outrage towards the Starbucks cup and not towards the real things that are happening.
Well, because it's easier, because you can always humiliate. No, sometimes you can humiliate a corporation into behaving the way you want, but you can really only do that if you're their market. And I'll tell you what, Starbucks. Yeah. Starbucks isn't going to crumble any more than Chick-fil-A is going to crumble. Yeah. And it's embarrassing and a little absurd to think about, politicizing corporations, because they do not care at all. Right. And it's funny. They don't care. They just know that if they stop selling, if they have to choose between, are we going to keep our presence in Nashville or are we going to keep our presence in Portland? Guess what? Yeah. They're going to choose Portland. If you want to stop drinking the red cups in Nashville, you guys knock yourself out. But the people in Portland are going to drink 4 times as many, And it was the same thing with the Chick-fil-A a couple of years ago. They're like, boycott us twice. Yeah. Because there are some really, really, really big, angry Southern women who are gonna buy all of our chicken wings, whatever chicken wing sandwich thing. Right. I don't know what they have for Chick-fil-A. They have chicken, I guess. Chicken's my guess. Yeah, that's a fair guess. And so, what else do you have in the content department? Because I have some more good content stuff, but.
I can't remember if we talked about it last week, but I've noticed the rise of. I mean, it's always been there, but I think it's hitting more the mainstream social media of Facebook, and that's the GIF.
We didn't talk about it.
The GIF. I actually went in on the radio on Thursday and was explaining to them, the importance of that. We're doing some of the media production stuff has eased up, in this time of year. So we're doing some more just web-based and that sort of thing. So we're actually creating, instead of having a web flyer that is just, throw up on a piece of paper of everything, we're creating, a GIF for the Starbirds New Year's Eve party. So it's just something visual, goes out in an email, goes out in Messenger, on the website, and it's just a moving picture, real simple and easy. But I've noticed now too that like similar to the autoplay in Facebook, that they're allowing GIFs to play within.
Oh, really? That aren't made there?
That aren't made there.
Oh, so that's crazy. I didn't know that. I would, because I don't know, how do you make them?
I make there's 1,000,001 apps that you can easily do on on your mobile device, but I make mine the hard way in Photoshop. So
because the Auto Awesome.
Yes, and that's another.
Yeah, and they would never upload to Facebook, and it was always.
So you may want to get. I've noticed a couple pop up in my feed. I haven't made one to put up myself, but I've been experimenting with it, and
Because there are, as you said, there are apps, but you have to, for instance, I can't post to oceancity.com with the app. I can only post it to my personal page.
Right.
Which does me no good.
Yeah.
Because the things that I want to put, like I got some good Ferris wheel ones and stuff like that. Ferris wheel is always one.
Yeah.
That's a
constant looped motion.
Yeah, just a quick one, especially at night.
Yeah.
I have some from, not now when
when it was actually.
But I have a good one of people of like the crowd on the boardwalk. That was one of the more fun things to do, is to stand in the middle of the boardwalk on July 10th and go.
Yeah.
And then have like all the people just coming past you and have that as a GIF.
Yeah.
Especially because on a loop it looks like
constant.
A billion people. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very exciting. So they're effective, you think, for catching people's eyes, but I don't put them, for instance, in blog posts. I put it in one blog post, and I was like, I cannot read what that was dumb, you know. And so I would maybe put, maybe some big block white letters on the bottom. But is that all you use? Is that what you do?
Well, the easy ones that you can get mobily, that's basically the setup that you're doing. You just have a little loop of a couple of pictures or a video. What I was doing is just kind of the building of building of layers and that sort of thing to kind of get the message that would go into catch your eye and get the message across quick and easily. For instance, in an email marketing campaign. So that goes out and they open it, and within 8 seconds they know what's happening and what the call to action is. It's like, get your tickets.
Right. And then that's all it says, is it?
Yeah.
Like New Year's Eve, get your tickets.
Right.
It's not like
and a picture of the owner, holding a glass of champagne.
Right, but it's not a whole story. It's not like a quick Star Wars thing.
Right. No. But and then you keep the body of the paragraph for that. But I just, again, it's just kind of that what kind of things you can do to experiment to get more people interested or fired up about it. I've had people come up, my personal or my profile memes that I've been doing. I've had a ton of people that have made comments about that.
Right.
It's just something fun to do. But it's also like you want to put quality content out there. If you do it originally, you're gonna be better off.
Yeah, I've been trying to just cultivate myself, Tony Russo, the writer, page more I'll tag that in the oceancity.com feed, only because it's one of the things that they want me to do is to be more like not the face of Ocean City, but the face of oceancity.com, this is where your stuff is coming from. This is the guy who's doing your stuff. This is the guy whose decision it's made. Because as we're starting to hopefully start to pick up some interns soon, as I was saying, or more to get people to write, you want someone to kind of focus on. So it feels like there's someone who's responsible. So one of the things that I've started doing, and it's me.
You're responsible.
Yeah, I'm the responsible. One of the things that I've started doing though is, and it's something that So I have a Tony Russo, the writer, Facebook page that I use for all my professional stuff. But I'll sign it as that, and I will moderate the comments as me rather than as a page.
Yeah.
And it makes it less faceless, and people like that more. They're like, oh, it's not a form letter. And that's the thing that people don't realize, like, I'm sorry, that it's a thing that people maybe who run pages might not, like when you comment as your page, no one thinks it's a faceless, but
yeah.
And sometimes I do, if it's appropriate, I will comment as oceancity.com. And they're like, okay, well, they care about what I just said. But when it's something about one of my stories, for example, then I comment as me, and I'm like, thank you, for reading. Or no, I totally did screw that up, or
right.
If I make a mistake, or it's a lot of.
Well, and it's the defining the brand's personality through the people that are the
right. Exactly. I'm one of the guys here helping you out, and one of the things what are the Ocean City people called? Ocean City guides.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like
there are people. And Ocean City insiders, Ocean City experts.
Oh, okay.
There are people. There are a legion of people who live, and Ocean City does a great job at this. They have them down once a year.
Yeah.
And they feed them, and they take them on tours, and then those people kind of moderate the forum aspect of Ocean City, Maryland.
Yeah.
The town's official website. And I think they do an excellent job at that. And, I couldn't believe it took me this long. I mean, I've been here 3 weeks, but it took me a while to see, because one of my boss would say, a lot of them used to just be active on our forum, and now they're at oceancity.com. And I'm like, it's because they had a name.
Yeah.
And that makes them more engaged, and it makes the people who are with them more engaged.
Right.
And so one of the things that I think I'm going to push is that we start, maybe get everyone else to start their own professional Facebook page and make those people moderators and have those people commenting.
Right.
When appropriate. Again, when it's appropriate, say, so like, for instance, like if the guy who owns the Starboard sees Monty. So he sees something on the site rather than say, hey, the Starboard likes that, or hey, the Starboard says this is a cool thing. Maybe he could say, hey, you know what? Thank you. I'm glad.
Yes.
I'm the guy in charge, or I'm the guy running the Facebook page, or
yes.
But putting a face to that, I think, is going to be another important way to make people understand that what we're doing is something personal and tailored that you can't do with a great, huge AdWords campaign. Yeah,
no, and I think that definitely is the case, or the best way to get like I said, your brand's personality. People are engaging, one-on-one, even with brands, and if you have, especially a small business and that sort of thing, no matter what it is, if you're able to put a face with it, and know that there's still a separation between the individual and the business, I think that's the way to go.
I want to complain about Facebook for a second.
Oh, have at it.
I got the Facebook app for my new job. I hate the Facebook app. I hate the idea of the Facebook app. But what I hate more about it than even the Facebook app is the messenger aspect of it. And so I want to show you, and I want to show everybody. It says there I have 3 messages.
Right. 3 messages.
I don't have any messages. When I push on it, it's like, oh, if you want to see your messages, you have to install the Messenger. But if I install Messenger, you know what it's going to say? You have the messages.
Yeah.
And then
so you have to.
Yeah, well, it makes it feel insidious. Like I said, I don't like. I don't like to be treated stupid. Like, don't treat me like a moron. Just because I'm on Facebook doesn't mean I'm a drooling idiot. And when you treat me like a drooling idiot, I feel like you're trying to take advantage of
it. It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good.
I'm not going to download Messenger just for the sake. Maybe I had thought about doing it, but now definitely not.
I never really thought of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I only downloaded I only downloaded the app, and I've downloaded and deleted the Facebook app 12 times.
Yeah.
And because of my new job, I thought I would be able to better tag people with the Facebook, but you're not. It's very hard. It's as if Facebook doesn't know that mobile is why make it so hard to tag people on
mobile?
On mobile, and it's not. That's true. Right?
Yeah. No,
do you know why? Is there a rule?
I don't know that there's a rule, but it is very true. I wonder too if they also have the page manager app.
I'm sure they do.
So we manage a couple pages. So we and it's it's more of the same. I have them all. Yeah. I use them all. I actually like Messenger, but
my wife says that all the time. She's like, it's fine. And I'm like, well, then why are they? If it's so good, why do they have to trick me into using it?
Why do they have to say I have 3 messages?
Why don't they just wait until I have a message,
right?
And say, hey, you have a message. If you want to see it on Messenger, it'll be easier.
Yeah.
Because I just go over to Chrome and I use my Chrome to look at my messages.
Very good.
And that'll teach them.
Yeah. Socking it to them.
One of their 6 billion users isn't playing along.
Right.
I'll make that's the hill I want to die on. I lost track of time. I do not know how much time we have. I have one more quick story. A little. So Paste magazine.
Okay.
I'm usually not a fan of. It's very BuzzFeed.
Okay. I'm not familiar.
Well, you might like them. I'm starting to like them more. I have been for a while because, like BuzzFeed, they're like Paste magazine used to be like an aggregator,
right? And
I just don't. The world doesn't need another aggregator.
And people are getting more and more away from that.
Yeah,
I believe
they need because Google knows that you didn't make this thing.
Oh yeah.
And so they're going to put you below the person who did make this thing. And so Paste has gotten away from that, much like BuzzFeed. They're also starting to produce regular, normal content. And they had a best beers, the 51 best beers, 51 best stouts in the country.
Oh,
and it wasn't a voting thing, and it wasn't a listicle thing. Well, I mean, listicle, but like they had a blind taste test.
Yes.
They had, 4,000 people taste 200 beers or whatever. And they narrowed it down to the top 51. And Evo's Rise Up Stout came in number 8.
I know, that's pretty amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah. That and I think in the world of many listicles where people could just say these are my favorite, to do a blind taste test.
You made an effort. You're making something new for the world to see instead of telling people about your opinion about something else someone made for the world to see.
Yeah. No, I saw that. We mentioned that when we were at Shell Shock on Saturday. So I mean that was that was pretty impressive.
Although I pretty pointedly tagged all of them, and none of them favorited.
Very pointed.
I don't know if it was because it was OceanCity.com and not me or what. But
continue to experiment.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Keep throwing stuff against the wall, and something's going to stick, and it'll work until it stops working, and then you try other stuff.
Yep.
So,
such is our life.
Yeah,
as the impresarios of content marketing here on the Eastern Shore.
Yeah. Which, like I said, and when you see other people, when you see how many other people are, what they're doing, it's kind of cool that they know that there's such a thing.
Right.
But I really don't think, I think they're very much like me with my, shouldn't we have 4,000 pages with just one paragraph on each?
Yeah.
Like, yes, you should if it were 2003, but it's not anymore. So this is the new rule.
I think it's good that people are at least thinking about it.
Acknowledging it. It's good for us because then we'll have more people that we can do it for.
Yes.
Or at least help to learn to do it themselves.
Yes.
In a positive way.
So we should plug ourselves. So if you need digital marketing, give us a call. If you want to advertise or get a story out on OceanCity.com, give Tony a call.
You have numbers and stuff.
I mean, I could put numbers up, but
you flash them at the bottom and then like scream at them over the top. No, you can find me on Twitter at my name backwards, OSSURYNOT, and then Tony at OceanCity.com.
And you can find me at goodcleanfunlife.com and GCFLproductions.com. And social links are all in there.
Yes. And then like
Ding, ding.
You said like and
subscribe, comment,
subscribe.
tell your friends.
And hopefully next week, review on iTunes. We'll be back on iTunes. Not next week, but hopefully next week, the first step toward us being back on iTunes. We'll record it next week.
Very good.
But for now, may Todd give you the sense to live.